Under the glaring lights of an undisclosed underground fight club, a tension-filled showdown unraveled between two iconic martial artists, Cynthia Khan and Steven Seagal. The crowd murmured with anticipation, their excitement electric in the air. On one side stood Cynthia Khan, known for her lightning-fast strikes and acrobatic agility, her eyes focused and her stance poised like a predator ready to pounce. On the other, Steven Seagal exuded an air of calm menace, his towering frame and fluid movements belying the raw power he was capable of unleashing. Cynthia Khan, an icon in the Hong Kong action film scene, has long been celebrated for her intense training in various martial arts, including Taekwondo and Wushu. Her speed was her greatest weapon, a blur of motion that could overwhelm opponents before they even had time to react. Her combat style was dynamic, full of spinning kicks, lightning-quick punches, and the agility of a dancer. However, her greatest strength was also her Achilles heel. In a prolonged fight, her reliance on stamina and acrobatics could leave her vulnerable to a more patient adversary. Steven Seagal, a master of Aikido and a towering figure in the Hollywood action genre, brought a starkly contrasting style to the table. His techniques were rooted in precision and efficiency, with devastating joint locks and throws that could neutralize an opponent in seconds. While he lacked the explosive speed of Cynthia, his sheer physical presence and ability to anticipate an opponent's moves gave him an edge in close-quarters combat. Yet, critics often pointed to his slower footwork and reliance on counterattacks as potential weak points when facing a more aggressive fighter. As the fight began, the contrast between their styles was immediately apparent. Cynthia opened with a flurry of attacks, her fists and feet a whirlwind of motion. The crowd gasped as she spun into a flawless roundhouse kick aimed at Seagal's head, only for him to sidestep with an almost lazy grace. His counter was swift, a calculated wrist lock that had her reeling momentarily, but Cynthia rolled out of it with the fluidity of a cat, resetting her stance. The battle was an intricate dance of speed versus power, strategy versus instinct. Cynthia continued to press the attack, using her agility to dart around Seagal and exploit his slower movement. She landed several strikes, a particularly clean hook to his jaw causing the crowd to roar in approval. But Seagal, ever the seasoned tactician, absorbed the blows with a stoic expression, waiting for the right moment to turn the tide. That moment came when Cynthia attempted an ambitious flying kick. Seagal stepped into her trajectory with impeccable timing, using his weight and skill to redirect her momentum into a brutal throw. She hit the ground hard, the crowd's cheers turning into a collective gasp. Seizing the opportunity, Seagal attempted to lock her into one of his signature holds, but Cynthia, showing remarkable resilience, twisted free with a powerful elbow strike to his ribs. The fight wore on, each combatant showcasing their unique strengths and exposing their vulnerabilities. Cynthia's relentless energy began to wane, and Seagal, sensing her fatigue, closed the distance with predatory precision. In the final exchange, it was Seagal's patience and unyielding control that tipped the scales. A perfectly timed Aikido wrist lock neutralized Cynthia's final attack, forcing her to tap out. Though defeated, Cynthia Khan's performance was nothing short of extraordinary. She demonstrated a tenacity and skill that kept the larger, more experienced Seagal on edge throughout the bout. However, Seagal's mastery of timing and his ability to exploit openings proved insurmountable in the end. His victory was a testament to the principle that sometimes, it's not the fastest fighter who wins, but the one who remains calm in the storm. As the fighters bowed to one another in mutual respect, the crowd erupted into applause, celebrating a battle that showcased the art and heart of martial combat. In this unforgettable clash of legends, both Cynthia Khan and Steven Seagal emerged as champions in their own right. But on this night, it was Seagal who stood victorious.